zombie but awake 밤비가 내려wake Can't wait no time is a game so I just put it on my way All I need is love all I need is hope 사랑을 갈구해 랩으로 빡치는 건 나 랩으로 얘기해 막 사는 걸 자랑을 하는 래퍼들 얘기는 no All I need is hope all I need is hope 현실을 도피해 랩으로 바쁘단 걸 날 필요로 한다고 느끼는 게 살아있다고 날 더 느끼게 해 하고 싶은 얘기들을 담아서 노래로 만들어 나는 길을 받아서
Hello there, welcome to today's class, and our topic is basic programming language. Previous classes we've learned algorithms, we learned flowcharts, but for the purpose of this class, I'll be walking you through the meaning of basic programming, which we already know from our previous two classes when we talked about basic inbuilt functions. Then we're going to outline the steps of writing a basic program. Then we're going to be writing programs that can solve mathematical or word problems. Then we'll also be using basic programming to solve problems on arrays and looping. Now this class is more of a theoretical class because in the next class I will dedicate it purely to practicals. So there won't be much on all this write-up, but it will just be strictly practicals, whereby we are going to practicalize how to make use of this. So what then is basic programming? Just like we said now, we've already defined basic programming in our previous modules, so I will just go in this way. That a basic programming language is a simple, easy to understand programming language. Like I said in the previous class, it's an high level language, and to use it correctly, it is sufficient to know a few basic elements that every program consists of. Now, what are the things that you must basically see when using a basic programming? Some words that you should know. You should know that we have identifiers, comments, operators, expressions, instructions, constants, variables, symbols, and labels. Identifiers identifies a particular variable. Comments help you to explain a particular line of program. Operators is to know addition, subtraction. Okay, enough of that. Let us move ahead to the rules of writing a basic program. All QBasic programs are made up of series of statements, because I told you that in the course of this class we'll be making use of QBasic programming software. Now, all QBasic programs are made up of series of elements which are executed in the order in which they are written. Every statement should have at least one QBasic command word. All the command words have to be written using some standard rules, which are called syntax rules. In our classes, our physical classes, I've always told you what syntax is. Syntax are rules. They are not syntax error. Syntax are not errors, rather syntax are rules. Now, in writing all this, we're using a very good example of a problem, a mathematical problem. We'll see how it is done. Alright, a program to add two numbers. Now, first of all, I'll walk you through some labels or some keywords. You have CLS, meaning clear. Now, the function of clear is to clear existing codes that have been written. Now, the clear function at that point, it helps you, it tells the compiler that you are starting a new program. Your rem, which means remark, your rem, it tells you, or it documents the program. More like it gives the program a name. So when looking at it, you say, okay, this program is to add two numbers. It does not execute. It is a non-executable statement. Your input, just like the way we did algorithm and flowchart, is where you input your variables. Then the next is your processing, where the actual work is done, and next is the print or the output for you to give your answers, and then you end. Now, using this example, you have your remark that says program to add two numbers. Now, next is input. Input says enter the first number. Take note of the way it is written. Input followed by the enter the first number. In using that quotation, the processing is more like you are declaring the work to be done. S is equals to A plus B. Now print sum of the two numbers, which is also S. S is the sum. S is the sum. So take note. You are taking note of the syntax. Input in quotation. Enter the second number, which is B. Now that B after the quotation is what we are working. That's what the computer understands. That's what the computer understands. So don't miss it. Next, we have another example that we would be treating, which is printing of even numbers from 1 to 10. Printing of even numbers from 1 to 10. Now, even numbers from 1 to 10, there are different methods in which we can use them. This is what we call looping. Now, first of all, what's a loop? A loop is a continuous flow of a program. So it means that when you have a loop, it means there is a repetition. A repetition, something is happening. A particular operation is repeating itself, and we have a for loop. So for this one, we are making use of a for next loop in this. So for is more like a declaration of a loop, and next is to move to the next function. So for here, for this particular question, you have clear, which is a normal routine, followed by the keyword for. Now for I is the variable. Remember I told you what's the meaning of a variable, that a variable, they are temporary storage locations. Now I is equals to 2 to 20 in step 2, meaning it's the numbers are moving in step 2, 4, 6, 8. Now next is for you to print I. Print I. What is I? I is 2. The next line is next. Now next tells you that you should move to the next number. The next number using the step 2 function is going to be 4, followed by next 3, like that till it gets to 20. Till it gets to 20. But for the purpose of this class, the function there is to till it get to 20, of which the output will definitely end at 20. End at 20. If we are going to use from 1 to 10, we would have said from 2 to 10. From 2 to 10. So print the number. Next, taking you from 2, 4, 6 as the program progresses. Now when it gets to 20, the program ends. The program ends. There's another example that we'll also look at now. Another method. Another method. Now for this method is far, or it's better, or it's easier to understand compared to the previous one. The normal CLS, the clear. Next is let n be equals to 2. Beautiful. Let n be equals to 2. This one is more like a declaration method. Let n be equal to 2. Now they said for the next line, it says for I is equal to 1 to 10. So it means that I ranges from the value 1 to 10. 1 to 10. So your next line said print n. That is print 2. Print 2. The next line now tells you that n is now equal to n plus 2. Now if n equal to n plus 2, so the very first number that it will give you is 2, then plus 2, which is looping, continuous. 2, next, plus 2, 4, plus 2, 6, like that, which is takes to the next I. That is the next, the next, the next, the next, till it gets to 10. And the program stops at that point, and you've completed the declaration method. If you follow the trend, you see that it is very, 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 very easy. It's very, very easy. You also have another example whereby we'll make use of the while loop. Whereby we'll make use of the while loop. The while loop. So let's see the while loop. Now, when you talk about the while loop, for example, the while loop is for something to be done while this is that. You are doing this while this is this. You are performing a function, or you are performing an expression, or you are performing a program while this is that. That is the essence of the while loop function. The while loop function. And here you have it, the while loop function. Now we talk about while loop function, most of the times you make use of conditional statement. Conditional statement. While loop is a conditional statement. Now, just like the way we did the previous one, you say clear. The clear again once more for those of you that have forgotten or that didn't get it the first time I said it. It is used to clear the existing code that you've been writing and to tell the compiler that you are starting a fresh program. Then the next line says let n be equal to 2. You are telling the compiler that n is equal to 2. Now the while loop function. Now the thing here is now says while n is less or equal to 20. While n is less or equal to 20, you should print n. So it means that the value there should be from 20 downwards, or from 1 to 20. Say less, but it should not exceed 20. On no account should it exceed 20. And next, it's your print. You print n. So when it's printing n, that make sure that it doesn't exceed 20. But what will it be doing? Why then is it looping? The looping there is now where you now have n is equal to n plus 2. So it means that there will be an addition of 2 in every statement till it gets to 20 for the program to stop. So it's very easy. Take note. Looping is a conditional statement. That while is a conditional statement, while looping is a continuous flow of a program, a repetition of program codes. Looping is a repetition of program codes. Now, moving away from that, we'll talk about the arrays. I told you I said looping and arrays. Now, arrays in programming, an array is a data structure consisting of a collection of elements, values, or variables, each identified by at least one array index or key. Now, when you talk about array has to do with tables. You are trying to put some numbers in tables, some words in tables. You make use of arrays, and they are in the format of dimension. It has a syntax. The syntax of array is dim into the bracket x. dim into the bracket x. That's for the syntax of array. An array is a variable which stores different values of the same data type. It is useful to organize multiple variables. To declare an array, dimension, that is dim statement, is used. Let's take an example to declare an array. Let's say that a dimension number of 10. Here, the dimension is a keyword to declare an array. Similarly, numbers is a name of array. If you want to create a string array variable, then you need to add the $sign. Now, maybe you want to add, it's not your usual numbers. They are strings, characters, ABCD. You have to use your $sign in the place of the x. Now, at the end of the name of the variable, the 10 inside the parental means this array can hold 11 elements. Yes, 11 elements. There is a first index array 0, also 0 to 10. Obviously, if you have to do dimension of 10, it starts from 0. But it can store only numbers. It can store only number value because numbers is a numeric variable. Let's see an example anyway. We'll be seeing an example shortly. But take note of the syntax of the array, which is dim into the bracket x. Now, x is not just a numeric variable. X can also be a string variable. X can be any kind of variable. I've mentioned variables since the beginning of the class. Our previous classes I've been mentioning variables. Don't forget variables. Don't take it for granted. And likewise, if there are questions that you don't understand, make sure you tell me. All right, now let's move to an example to demonstrate an array. Now, for this array demonstration, it's talking about we are trying to display a number and display an array that has 5 tables or 5 rows. 5 rows. So the very first thing there is to declare. Now you have dimension num into the bracket 5. So it means we're talking about numbers into the bracket 5. Now the dimension there, it means that there are going to be 5 columns, 5 columns, you have dimension 0. Dimension 0 say is equal to 2. Dimension 1 equal to 4. Dimension 2 equals to 5. Dimension 3 equals to 10. Dimension 4 equals to 6. Dimension 5 equals to 9. Likewise, you have num 0, num 1, num 2, num 3, num 4, num 5. Remember I told you it starts from 0. When you have dimension 5, it starts from 0. It means that you have 6 rows. You have 6 rows. You have 6 rows. Of which, when you've done that, when you've declared your your dimensions, the next for you to do is to print them. So you print them. It's just more like you're still repeating it. It's not difficult. Just say print num 0 semicolon num 1 semicolon num 2, then it gets to 5, and then you print num. So then the next line, then maybe you want to perform arithmetic operation. You can now say num 3 plus num 5. Now what's num 3? Num 3 is 20. Sorry, num 3 is 10, and num 5 is 9. So you can see you want to perform other operations in it, you can. And the output for this particular program, you can see it is 19. Now, another example of an array. So we can take data in array from the user by using looping statements. Remember I told you looping. Don't forget, I will still say looping again. I said looping, they are repetition of program codes. Looping are repetition of program codes. Now looking at it, you have clear, like I've said it before, dimension. Now the dimension there is 4, meaning it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of that. And they say sum is equal to 0. Now when you print enter any 5 numbers. Enter any 5 numbers. The dimension, like I told you, say for I is equals to 0 to 4. 0 to 4. 0 to 4. Meaning, the reason why they are saying enter any 5 numbers is because of the fact that it starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is actually 5 rows. Then you impute, then you take your sum. Sum is now equals to the sum plus the norm. The sum plus the norm. Then next I. Now this is you making use of an array. Now for this class, the class may be looking a little bit technical because we are not performing the practical. Now in our next module, it will be strictly practical, where you would actually properly understand and see the implementation of the work, where you can actually see the implementation of the work, and you'll be able to do them on your own. So please, thanks for watching. I await and wait for the next module where that you will be performing practicals. Wait for the next module. There you will see all the practicals that you need. Thank you for watching. My name remains Mr. Dennis, and have a wonderful and blessed night or day or weekend ahead. Thank you.